What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and sorry about the late video, but I was waiting for these patch notes to show up before I made a video about this, and we definitely got some interesting patch notes going on here. We got the normal greetings agents, we have 4 new uniforms, 3 potential awakening characters, and 1 tier 3 advanced hero, which we already knew about from the live stream. And then we have a new world boss super giant ultimate difficulty, which is pretty damn cool. I saw one of the comments where people were saying, well, it's pretty much a copy and paste of what we already had, and yeah, it pretty much is. In all honesty, we'll talk a little bit more about Supergiant here in a little bit, and we'll definitely know more about that whenever we actually get the update tomorrow. But there are hero growth and content improvements to fight against the Black Order. Tier 2 heroes with uniform discounts, which is always good. Guided quest has been added. Dispatch mission story and shield lab has been improved. When we scroll down here and we take a look at Supergiant. Now, Supergiant, of course, you got the typical, she's a super villain, of course, still universal type. And then she got the all attack, right buff of your normal native stats from your uniforms. And then she's got this ignore target dodge rate by 25%, which is actually really good, especially against Null, as we all know. But the 25% ignore defense is kind of whatever. I mean, I don't understand why Netmarble does the ignore defense buffs. They don't need this. Most players, if they've been playing for 3 to 6 months, easily have the max ignore defense for the most part on their characters. They just don't need that. I think that's just silly. Still got the penetration. She has greatest 75% invisibility, ignore targeting. This is actually really good and kind of hints to you, and this is on a 5-second cooldown, that she could potentially be really good for PvP. So we'll see. Some of you PvP players out there, you might be looking at this thinking, okay, we'll see. And then we have increased all resistance by 33%, increased guaranteed dodge rate by 33%. That's going to help her survivability. And then that decrease all damage received by 33%. Very interesting that they're doing 33%, kind of an odd number, but okay, it's still good. And then she has mind stun. She's got mind control for 5 seconds, which is really great. Damage received increased by 30%, so similar to Rachel, which is pretty good. That's going to mean her damage output's going to be pretty decent. And then we got an increased damage proc by 75% for 1 attack. And judging from what we heard Cage say in the live stream, hopefully we can transfer this damage proc over into another skill. Hopefully it doesn't have to land a hit on this specific skill, because if it does, that could suck unless this is where the damage proc is going to be. But judging from what we saw in the live stream, I don't think the third skill is where it's going to be. So I'm hoping we can carry over the damage proc to another skill. That's what Cage was implying, so we'll see. And then she has an all defense down that does apply to world boss. That stacks with a 50%. Not bad, but starts off at 15%, so she's going to build up her all defense down very quickly. Won't have to do very many hits at all to build it up. And then we scroll down here and she's got silence. She's got a heal, which is very nice. Always good to see a heal. And then she's got a 40% all attack buff. Very nice. And a 40% crit rate buff on a 6-second cooldown on a 6.5-second cooldown. Not bad at all. That's a very good buff. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. And then we got Corvus, who they changed to a speed supervillain. And it really makes you wonder if he's going to be a new ABX meta. It's probably going to be one of them deals where you're going to need him, and you'll probably need Mystique, right? Because she'll give the increased damage to supervillains. I imagine it's going to be one of them deals where we got to team them up, but we'll see. We'll see. Then we got a 20% increase of physical attack on his uniform effect. That's very good for Corvus. And then increased damage dealt to superhero faction by 30%. That's good in like PvP and maybe against certain world bosses that we don't normally face. Which are the mutants. We usually don't fight them. So I see that, and I think hopefully, he'll be good in PvP, because if he is, that extra damage to superhero faction is actually going to be really good, unless someone is using Molecule Man for the leadership. And then we have increased guaranteed dodge by 25%, increased guaranteed critical rate by 25%, the same old stun, silence. And then we get to the third skill, which actually has a heal equal to 10% of damage dealt to a target. Very interesting. Cannot recover more than 10% of max HP. So he's got a really strong heal. It reactivates 0.3 seconds after activation. This is very unique for Corvus. I actually like it. I think it's really cool. He does have an all defense down that does apply to world boss. Starts off at 10%, stacks up to 50%. And then he does have a paralysis that applies to world boss also. Just for 1 second. I wish it was a little bit longer, but We'll see. We'll see. He's got a guard hit. That's the same as what it was before. And then he's got super armor for 5 seconds and increased damage proc by 70% for 1 attack on the 4th skill. And again, I'm hoping that if we don't put the proc on the 4th skill, I'm hoping we can carry that damage proc over to another skill. We'll wait and see, guys. And then he has invincibility for 6 seconds and a 55% increase fall attack. Whoa. That's a big damn buff. 55% increase? Wow. And that's on an 8-second cooldown. So, I mean, looking proc friendly as far as his timings. Supergiant looks pretty top proc friendly too, as far as her timings. Low cooldowns on these characters. And then we get to Proxima Midnight, who they were kept as a universal type and applies to villain allies. And this is pretty cool. Increased damage dealt to superhero faction by 40% and increased damage dealt to super villain faction by 35%. And again, with Proxima on the team, just like what they did with the Defender allies, with Jessica Jones with the 50% all attack to the Defenders, right? Buffing up Luke Cage and Daredevil, who are really good for PvP. This could be good for PvP, but obviously it's going to be good for PvE as well, because you can use this against Null on top of her leadership. Yeah, that's pretty damn crazy, actually. That is awesome. And it's a self-buffing, and it's a self-buff for her. And then she has ignore target dodge rate by 45% as the leader. That's so awesome. And the critical damage. So they bumped up her critical damage by 30%. So again, if characters have a CTP of Rage or CTP of Judgment, it's going to be really easy to max out their critical damage with her as the leadership, and you get that 40% ignore dodge. And if you have a CTP of Energy on a character, or they got a passive with ignore dodge, I mean, it's going to be easy to max out. That's awesome. And then she's got a 40% recovery of max HP heal and invincibility for 5 seconds whenever her HP is 40% or less. And this is pretty cool because this is on a 90-second cooldown. You have a 5-minute fight in PvE against regular world boss. 5 minutes. So this can go up a couple times throughout the fight and really save old Proxima. Not to mention in PvP, if they are viable for PvP, this could be very useful. And then we have the tier 2 passive, which has the penetration, same as before. And then increased skill damage. Okay, we'll just skip on a little bit here. 1 skill, no big deal. 2nd skill, no big deal. The 3rd skill, increased guaranteed dodge rate by 30%. The crit rate by 30%. That's really nice. That's on a low cooldown. Wow, she's got a really low cooldown on her 1 skill too. Whoa. And then she also has all defense down. That doesn't apply to world boss. It's always weird to me that they give these characters all defense down, but they don't apply to world boss, especially in the day and age of Pierce. I mean, why not? Why not put all defense down that applies to world boss? But okay, whatever. That's a small nitpick, I guess. And then the 4th skill, you tap and hold the skill icon when you charge a skill. So a lot of us that watched the live stream, we got to see him charge the skill and release it with a commence the attack, which, you know, I'm not really a big fan of charge skills, but we'll see how it plays out. The thing that worries me is that you're going to have to hold the charge skill to build up your all attack, similar to what you have to do with Thor on his 4th skill. It's not a massive deal, but it can be a bit annoying sometimes when you're playing with a character like that. She does have the paralysis that applies to world boss, which is actually really good. And then she's got a 60%. I'll say that again. 60% all attack buff. Say what? 60%. So her and the hubby got some massive buffs, and she got 30% crit rate buff on top of that. I never understand why they do the all speed by 1%. I always thought that was silly. And then she also has immunity to all damage for 4 seconds. Wow, and these are low cooldowns, guys. So again, could be very proc friendly just by looking at these cooldowns. And then she gets invincibility on her 3rd skill, so she has to heal from her passive, invincibility, immunity. She's got a heal on her 5th skill, the 10% recovery of max HP on top of the heal from the passive. She's got the 60% all attack on the 4. She's got a 40% all attack on the 5. Proxima has got some serious love. Expect big things from this character. Wow. 30% decrease of all attack. Okay. Now we get down to Cole, who they changed to a combat super villain. So I don't know if he's going to replace Apocalypse. We will see. But he does have 20% increase of HP. This only applies to himself. And reflects 100% of physical damage received. So that could very well be a very good PvP skill, obviously. Right? And then having Proxima on the team to get the increased damage to superhero and supervillains. I mean, I don't know, guys. We might have a new PvP team here. We might have one. We'll see. Decrease all damage received by 30%. Wow. Numb the pain. I love that leadership name. But applies to all allies. Activation rate 50% chance wait when hit. 100% chance to become immune to physical damage. Yep. Passive. Decreased damage received from reflect by 60%. This applies to all Black Orders allies. So again, decreased damage received from reflected effects by 60%. Again, this is PvP looking stuff. Effect physical reflect, immune to stun effect, and guard break immunity. So he's going to give guard break immunity to all these characters on top of that. So that kind of reminds you of Ben Grimm giving the super armor to all of the Fantastic Four allies. Wow. And then you got the tier 2 passive, which gives him a heal. Activation rate when HP is below 90%. He gets a 70% recovery of max HP heal for 5 seconds. Nice on a 5-second cooldown. That's pretty good. So he's going to have some good survivability, hopefully. Then we get first and second skill, remove incapacitation, okay, PvP. Then the third skill gives him 35% all attack buff, 35% crit rate buff, which is good, right? And then the fourth skill gives him a 35% increase of all attacks, so double buffs, all defense down. That starts off at 25% and stacks up to 50%. Applies to world boss. Nice, nice. And then we scroll down here, and he's got a 25% increase of max HP heal. Oh my god. And then the fifth skill has a paralysis. He also has damage accumulation, 1.1% damage accumulation. So, yeah, and that's based on how much damage you deal. That's a good accumulation, my friends. That is powerful. And then he has a 7-second immunity to all damage. And this is on an 8.5-second cooldown. So that's going to be up almost the whole time. On top of having this heal. What? Crazy, crazy. And then all these characters will be able to take up to level 70. And then we get to look at Proximus tier 3 skill. Now, it's a pretty cool look at tier 3 skill, but it's got a lot of text. It's got an insane amount of text. You got 30% recovery of max HP heal. You have an all defense down that goes up to 70%. So one thing you don't have to worry about is the all defense down that she already has in her kit, since it doesn't apply to world boss, they won't coincide with each other. They won't counter each other. So it doesn't matter if you do it before or after the tier 3, you're still going to get the stack up to 70% automatically, which is pretty freaking cool. Pretty freaking cool. And then she has ignore target dodge rate by 70%. And with her leadership, that's going to be over 100%, which you only need 100% at max against Null, which is awesome. And again, in PvP, that's a good thing. And then she has penetration, invincibility, remove all debuffs. So when you're using this character who's a universal type against Mephisto, that remove all debuff for 5 seconds, whenever she does her tier 3, she can't get stunned for that 5 seconds. That's actually really good. And then she has a damage accumulation based on how much damage she deals, and it's 0.6%. It's not the best accumulation. I wish it was a little bit higher, to be honest. But, you know, it depends on how many hits they do and how fast they do those hits. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. That all defense sounds pretty crazy. And then you get to the awakened skills, and they are a little bit different from each other. Corvus, he does have a damage accumulation. It's only 0.5%. The typical same old stuff from everything else for the most part. All defense sounds that goes up 65%. That's actually very powerful. He does have mind control on, which is really good. And he does have a damage received increased by 5%, which is going to increase his damage. That's actually really good too. I just wish the accumulation was a little bit higher, but again, until we play these characters, we just never know. And then we get down to Supergiant, who has a damage accumulation plus 1%. I don't know why maybe they had to give her more accumulation than Corvus, but yeah, they gave her more accumulation than him. And they did give her the all defense down. It goes up to 65%. That does apply to World Boss. Okay. And then you go down to Cole, you see no damage accumulation, but he already has accumulation in his kit, whereas the other two don't. So I think it probably balances out. And then he has the all defense down that goes up to 65% as well. I mean, it looks like they got quite a bit of love. All this stuff's the same old, same old. You also notice that Black Dwarf has a 50% damage proc, whereas the other two characters don't. So maybe they're trying to make up the difference for Cole to make him as strong as them. And then you can see the awakened skills, which look really freaking fantastic. When I saw these in the live stream, I was like, yeah, these things are beautiful. I love them so much. And then we scroll down here and we see each content of the Shield Lab has been revamped, and we got the processor has been changed to the craft system. And you can enter the craft system through the game menu at the upper right-hand corner. You see the little craft thing right here. And now they've kind of changed the processor a little bit. The original processor level before the update will be reflected in the craft system. So agents that have not used the processor of the Shield Lab will begin the craft level 1. So most of us have our Shield Lab leveled up, so that's not a big deal for most of us unless you're a brand new player. But the thing is, now we can choose between these items, these tier 3 items, and craft them. Now, this is actually really, really good. Now, the thing that I'm noticing in this picture anyways, at least, is I'm seeing TCP right here, right? But I'm also seeing that you got to use EOD to help to level that up. I think for some players that's a good thing, but for some goofy reason, I actually have more EOD or more TCP than EOD. So for me, this wouldn't be a big deal, but maybe whenever you're leveling up EOD, you need TCP. I mean, I wish you didn't have to use like EOD and TCP to level them up. I wish you could just use just like maybe CCF, but we'll see when it shows up. It might be a good quality of life change. I'm not really sure what I think about this. The BAM, the feathers are definitely good. Being able to use the feathers to level them up. But until we get the actual update and run through this, we'll see if it's actually better or worse than what it was before. And then the antimatter generating warp device has been removed. They got rid of the Shield Lab more or less. And dispatch mission improvements and an item transfer. So now in dispatch missions, we can get our dimension tokens, which we already have a shop for, where we can get bios and so on and so on. Okay, I mean, I guess that's good. I mean, I know for me, I have over 1 million of those things. I have an insane amount, but I mean, you can't get cards in the shop. So maybe this is a really good thing. Maybe this is a good thing. You know, whenever you're doing the dimension dispatch missions, you'll be able to get these tokens, and it's, you know, you'll get them at a faster rate. So you'll be able to get some more bios to help level up your characters. And then we got a little quality of life change here where they changed the UI a little bit. They gave us a change where all factions and all species have been added in the filter function of the My Team screen, which is good. Thank you so much for that. And then the bonus dispatch EXP can be obtained based on the hero's growth grade. So that's really good. You can gain some EXP in here. And then we scroll down here a little bit, and you can see that the shop has been moved over to the Shield Lab, or the item shop of the Shield Lab has been transferred to the dispatch mission. So now we got the shop over there. The rank of materials for the item shop have been changed to gold and gear up kits instead of antimatter. So now when you're leveling up the item shop, you can just use gold and gear up kits, which is actually kind of good. At least it makes some use of those gear up kits that so many of us have insane amounts of. And the item shop will also be accessible through the store menu. And you take a look at this thing, and I'm seeing the dimension tokens, and I'm seeing just gold. I'm not seeing anything for crystals. Now I imagine we're still going to have to pay crystals for some things in here. I'm not thinking they excluded that. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. I mean, really, they just moved it from one place to another. So, okay. And then we got World Boss Super Giant Ultimate Difficulty, which is cool. But again, guys, you know, just like earlier I was talking about, it is pretty much a copy and paste of what we had before. But the thing is, it's something different that we can play, where we can get some books that we might need. And it just adds a little variety, to be honest. I mean, that's really the thing for me. It's adding more variety to World Boss. Yeah, it'd been nice if they'd done something really cool and really different. They would have changed so much about it. But until we actually get to play it, let's kind of reserve our judgment about what we think about it. And then you scroll down here. The challenges and World Boss challenge records have been added to Supergiant Ultimate Difficulty. Yes, we know that. You can acquire biometrics of the according World Boss X genes by clearing World Boss Ultimate. And you can acquire hero XP through normal mode and story mode. By the way, you can also acquire the universal books and Odin's Blessings balance. And if you don't, for those of you that don't know, the balance Odin blessings are the ones that have energy and physical attack on them at the same time. So it's not going to be a world boss you're going to go to for Odin's blessings. I mean, you're going to want to go to the other world bosses for Odin's blessings because they're actually better. You know, it's better to get physical attack and critical damage, or energy attack and critical damage, or energy attack and ignore defense, or whatever, instead of just having energy attack and physical attack, one or the other on the Odin's blessing. That kind of is a bummer, but okay, it is what it is, I guess. And then Hero XP can be acquired by clearing a stage on story normal mode. And then we scroll down here a little bit. I'm kind of skip across a lot of this. We have a new guided quest, and the guided quest is where you can obtain some heroes to tier 2 has been added. I think this is going to be better really for newer players. For most of us players that already have our characters at tier 2, it's not a big deal. But it is cool for the newer players. When you already have all the designated heroes at tier 2, level 60 or above, you cannot begin the guided quest. So you can't do this quest if you already have the characters at tier 2. And then they show you a list of all the characters that you can do this for. And then they added a little something here. If you decide to buy this pack here, you can actually get some crystals. I really wish they would have put the $30 pack in here where you can actually get a tier 3 selector and made some changes to that, to be perfectly honest. But okay, it's nice that they're giving some extra crystals, but really they should give extra daily crystals to all the players. We should get more crystals every single day. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just, that's really what they should do. This is nice, but and keep doing this, but give more crystals to all the player base every single day. It's really high time, Netmarble. I mean, seriously, you've been putting it off for years. You need to do it. And, you know, it shows you the 25 crystals a day. You get the 20 XG daily or 20 biometrics daily. And then you get the daily boost, shield, special support. Okay. And then you scroll down here and you see the future pass, which is, you know, pretty cool. But there's a new icons in here. We got the Weather Witch icon and the Alien Embrace icon, which look phenomenal. And we're just going to go straight down to them babies. So you see the Weather Witch, which is Storm. So all of you Storm fans, here you go, my friends. And then all of you Alien Race fans, check that out. Check that out. That is sweet, guys. That is sweet. All of these are sweet. The Black Order looks freaking awesome. All these icons look phenomenal. It is a shame that, you know, you're going to have to spend a little money to get these icons. I mean, that's just the way it's kind of been. I wish they'd put one of them icons in the free, but okay. But those of us that are willing to spend a little money or have the means to be able to do that are going to be able to get these icons, which is pretty cool. Then you have the uniform bonuses. Okay, you get 150 TCP for leveling up 5 native tier 2 characters to mythic. Good job, Netmarble. And if you guys don't sense the sarcasm in that, I don't know what you'd sense it in. That is crazy. Terrible rewards for leveling up 5 uniforms of mythic. That is terrible. And then they did a little something that I'm actually really happy about. A nice little quality of life change where they actually improved the UI whenever you craft combining your cards. So this is a little bit more transparent, I do believe. I think maybe people won't make as many mistakes like yours truly and many of you out there as far as when you're locking your stats. I mean, it says right here, locking stats will maintain the existing stats and the color of the stars. So that's pretty transparent and letting you know exactly what's going on. So hopefully this will keep people from making the same mistakes that I've made and many of you have made in the past. And then you have a magnifying lens glass has been added on the pop-up screen of the upgrade ticket items to be able to check the detailed information of the heroes. Okay, and we'll kind of scroll down. I'm not really too worried about that. And then you have game error fixes. The hitting issue of certain devices has been improved. Let's hope so for many of you out there. And then the stage level story, dimensional clash, normal mode, chapter 2 has been lowered, so that's gonna make it a little bit easier for players to get through. And I'm not gonna read all of this stuff, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with these patch notes. I think they're pretty cool, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how strong these characters are going to be. I mean, really, when it comes to this patch and really when it comes to this update, it's all about the Black Order characters. I mean, and truthfully, that's what it is. It's all about these characters. So I'm expecting good things from them. We'll see if we have a change in the meta with some of these characters. There very well could be some changes in the meta. So let me know how you're all feeling about these patch notes. And I do stream on Twitch at Reset every day. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.